work that's about to be launched on the 1st of November. We know what we're doing. Those are the basic building blocks that we need to enable every Ghanaian everywhere to take advantage of the tools that are available online, globally, or in their classrooms to be able to connect so they can.
The protesters, draped in red and black to symbolize mourning and anger, are not only fighting for freedom of their detained comrades, but also raising alarms over devastating environmental and health impacts caused by illegal mining. As the protest swept through the heart of Accra, participants brandished bottles filled with milky, contaminated water drawn from the Pra and Brim rivers, two of Ghana's largest water sources.
Are you happy with it? See, I'm telling you, this is far serious than you think it is. It is far serious than you think it is. I will put my presidency on the line.
Chants of Ghanaian national anthem, along with haunting melodies of patriotic songs, echoed through the streets as demonstrators danced, waved placards, and demanded justice.
Today is the first day of the protest, and so far so good. We've had some concerned Ghanaians already on the street, left their jobs, left whatever they will be doing the street to register their displeasure against the devastation caused by Galamsey, and also destruction of the spirit of democracy by state authorities. Now, today, what we intend doing is to serve a petition to the Attorney General's office, or to petition the Attorney General. Judiciary shouldn't also fall short of their conduct. They shouldn't be very unlawful like the police did in the abduction of our comrades. They should release the people, throw away the charges, because if they prove that there are excesses, then the police also have had some excesses. You manhandle people, you hit people, you detain them without, even as we speak today, some people have been moved from their cells to other cells. What is the motion behind this?
Are they criminals?
What do we tend to achieve in this dispensation with this kind of tyrannical rule? What is wrong with us?
The protesters accuse governments of failing to act decisively, allowing vested interests to prioritize profits over people's health and the environment. Adding to the sense of urgency, Ghana's labor union have declared a nationwide strike set to begin on October 10 in solidarity with the protesters and to pressure authorities into taking swift action. The Free the Citizen protest is a 3-day action with petitions to be presented to the Office of the Attorney General and a vigil to climax the protest on October 5. Stanley Koplako for Pan-African News.
Welcome back. This is the newspaper review segment of the show. My name is ALORMASOR. I'm your driver for this segment, and a reminder that, as usual, we are coming to you live from our studios at number 48 Swanika Street in Abelinkpe. Also in 46 other African countries, we are live via satellites in some parts of Europe and of course South America. You can watch us on the internet. Make sure you do well to connect with us at facebook.com/Pan-African Television, also on youtube.com/Pan-African Television. Let me introduce to you the topics that we have tabled for this morning's discussion, and then I'll proceed to introduce my guests. The death toll from Israeli strike on central Beirut rises. And also, we shall be looking at the ongoing protest which started yesterday. I think it ends tomorrow. Today, I'll make sure I'm also there to also register my displeasure as far as illegal mining is concerned, and the scores of Ghanaians who have been, for me, wrongfully detained and have been denied bail. I would also join the protesters to demonstrate against that. Akufo-Addo begs organized labor to postpone strike over Galamsey. And then finally, a very disturbing issue, Ghana Health Service records Mpox case. And so these are the topics that we have tabled for this morning's discussion. As usual, I'm going to implore you to be a part of it. Let me know what your thoughts are. Send me your messages. I'll be more than glad to read them in the course of the show. I've been joined this morning by Philemon La of the National Democratic Congress. He's a private legal practitioner and also a communicator for the opposition National Democratic Congress. Philemon, good morning. It's been a while.
It's been a while, bless.
It's been like 3 or 4 months.
About 2 months.
About 2 months.
But you know, one day away from Pan-African TV is really one. It's
one too many.
It's one too many. So I'm happy to be back.
Yeah. Great. I'm meeting for the first time Dr. Aminu of the Ashesi University, and I'm excited that he's here with us. He's joining us this morning to also share his wisdom, his knowledge on burning issues with myself and, of course, you, our cherished viewers. Dr. Aminu, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
I'm excited to have you on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
I want to believe this is not your first time at Pan-African TV. You've been on
this is my first time on
the
show,
morning show.
but even though I'm a regular viewer of
the show. Okay. Good to have
my
you.
first time on the show.
Good to have you.
It's a blessed Friday.
Good to have you. Right, and so without further ado, we'll be getting into the conversation. There are unfortunate events happening across the world, and this time around we shall focus on Lebanon. Israel has been doing so much. Like they've been doing so much. Last week we heard of the tragic passing of Nasrallah, and I think yesterday on Pan-African Television we did a little show, to have some brief conversation on that. But there's so much that has been happening as far as Israel is concerned. They've been attacking Palestine, not only Palestine, now they've been attacking some other countries as well. And the leader, or the general secretary of Hezbollah, he was killed tragically about a week ago. But
last Friday.
Yeah, last Friday. But let me read to you the story. It's been captured in today's edition of the Daily Guide newspaper. The death toll from an Israeli airstrike on central Beirut early Thursday morning has risen to 9. The Lebanese Health Ministry says the strike hits the neighborhood of Bashura near the city's downtown. CNN confirmed through geolocating the area. An update from Lebanon's health ministry later on Thursday said the death toll had risen to 9 martyrs. In addition, 14 people were injured. DNA tests are underway to determine the identity of some of the remains. Of the 9 killed, 7 were medics working for the Hezbollah-affiliated Islamic Health Authority. The authority had an office on one floor of the building, which was hit during the wave of strikes on the Lebanese capital. CNN Tech found the building badly damaged with rubble in the street. CNN previously reported that at least 6 people had been killed in the strike. It marks the first time Israel has struck the area since 2006. Israel's strike have killed more than 1,000 people in Lebanon and displaced about 1 million residents since it escalated its war with Hezbollah. So this is the entire story as captured in today's edition of the Daily Guide. If you pick it, you look at page 5. This particular story is there. Very disturbing issues as far as the actions of Israel, are concerned. But I don't think that as the host of the show, I can share an opinion on matters happening in that area, and that's why I have my guest here. I'm going to be starting with Philemon La, his general thoughts on this issue, the death of Nasrallah, and if there is an end in sight as far as this fighting is concerned?
First of all, I have an emotional connection to this issue because a friend of mine, a couple of friends actually, were serving in Lebanon as UN peacekeepers, and daily, almost daily, Charlie, the missiles were almost hitting the military points of the UN military points. So it's really disturbing. So if this is what was happening, even at the military base of the UN, you can imagine how the common people in Gaza and other areas would have been feeling. But you see, on the issue between Israel and Palestine, I believe that the UN's position that there should be a two-state solution is something we must really consider, because I'm concerned about the humanitarian catastrophe that's happened. You know what has happened over the past few days? Iran has launched missiles into Israel, and Israel has told us what we should expect. Israel has declared the UN Secretary General persona non grata. What that means is that the UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, cannot enter anywhere in Israel. He's been banned from entering Israel. And tells you what Israel is thinking. Israel says, don't come and preach peace to us. Yeah. Don't come with your message of peace. Because Israel is going to... So I'm just worried about the humanitarian... Well, the fight, the war about territory and other things will come up. But the most important one now is the humanitarian consequence on Israel, on Iran, on Palestine. I think that the world must come to action. The world must really set up. Otherwise, we are going to all be complicit. We are all going to have blood on our hands, because any child that dies in Gaza or in Israel or in Iran is a blot on the collective conscience of the world.
Right. So, Irene, this is trite knowledge. The actions and inactions of superpowers like the United States, especially in this situation, people have often said, and of course there are evidences to back that without Israel relying on the military might of the United States, there's absolutely nothing that they can do. But the United States is a superpower. They have a very loud voice, perhaps about the loudest voice as far as the United Nations is concerned. And so, just a word could bring this to a halt. Why are we not seeing that from the United States? Doc?
Well, interesting. Well, thank you. A very good morning to our viewers and listeners, wherever they are. And I'm happy to be here with you for the first time, officially. Yeah, anyway, personally, from my experience of peacekeeping, right? Sometimes when we talk of peacekeeping, people think of just the military and the police. We have civilian peacekeepers. So that is the experience that I've had as far as peacekeeping is concerned. So I can quite relate to whatever is happening in Israel or Lebanon or that territory, that area for that matter, even though I've never served in that area. I've served in other areas like Afghanistan, Kosovo, Liberia, East Timor, etc. But at least I can relate to whatever is happening there as far as the global politics is concerned. It's unfortunate that this is an old age problem that refuses to go. And it will simply not go because of the larger global political interest. We can only hope that it does not escalate. We can only hope that a Pandora box is not open in that area. Indeed, as you said, US has a loud voice that if it decides to speak out, it could have impact on what is going on and possibly to put a stop to it. But in reality, the dynamics of the US's politics itself is a problem, such that depending on the position you take, as far as US's politics is concerned on Israel, it could impact you at home. And that is sometimes the cards that are being played by authorities in the US. And then when it comes to the UN, indeed, we know the position of the global body, that a two-state solution has been on the table for only God knows when. But how to get it implemented has become the problem. As a result, when you have Netanyahu at the helm as far as Israel is concerned, you can expect that there will be more fire. And indeed, one can safely say that this is more of a proxy war. As a result, you have various interests at play as far as the entire area is concerned. We can only hope that the UN will crack the whip.
That's the interesting part. The UN Secretary General himself has been declared persona non grata.
Yes.
It speaks to the fact that
Are they able to? That's the question.
It is normally because, or largely because, the US has not been faithful to the whole deal. To the extent that they veto even certain decisions by the UN, that tells you that the US itself is not an honest broker as far as this conflict is concerned. But considering the repercussions, we only hope that they will look at the impact on the globe as a whole and do what is needful. Now that even their own election is in the background, I can safely say that there might be loud silence on the part of the US until they finish their own elections, because whatever angle you take as far as this issue is concerned will have an impact on you, whether you are a Democrat or a Republican.
You see, one interesting thing, if I would just add, the posturing of America is quite interesting, because international relations, there are two dominant theories. There's realism. Realism basically is approaching every issue on the perspective of might, military might, financial strength. And I see America posturing slightly, but we haven't heard from China. We have not heard Russia on this matter. What is their posturing? Do they stand with Israel and America, or do they stand with Palestine, Iran, and the rest of it? I think they are likely to be with Iran. Their silence is also another issue we should be worried about. I've listened to President Biden's interview. He said that he advises Israel not to attack nuclear sites in Israel, Iran. That means that he starts suddenly endorsing strikes into Iran, but not the nuclear strikes. So you'd ask yourself, why is America so interested in the nuclear integrity of Iran? Why? Is it because there's a potential of Iran utilizing the same nuclear weapons against America, or all of this escalating into something we potentially cannot stop and will degenerate into a third world war? So I think that the posturing of America is an odd departure from its usual stance on realism, where they show full military might, full strength. But this one, they are trying to tone it down a little bit. And I think that it's important that America will show leadership. They claim to be the leader of the world, leader of the free world. So now is the time for us to see some leadership, because at the end of the day, I think that the humanitarian crisis is already, we are not even handling what's happening in Gaza well enough. We're not handling what's happening in Ukraine well enough. All across the world where America has interest, the Sudan, all around, they are sending aid everywhere. So why don't you rather prevent the happening of conflict, or of all of those circumstances that lead to this humanitarian crisis, rather than allowing them happen, and you spend billions in aid. UNHCR spending billions. But you see, another interesting thing is that, in diplomacy, it's very hardly would the UN be, treated the way this UN has been treated. Because diplomacy, no matter what, we extend courtesies. Even in war. Even in war, the diplomats from both countries are still able to talk. They allow safe passage for each other in times of war, to the extent that it is for a diplomatic mission. So it is curious, interesting, even intriguing, the position Israel has taken by declaring the UN Secretary General persona non grata.
It's all because they still have the American backing. Within the UN circles, we normally say we have the big boys. It is the direction of the big boys that will normally dictate how affairs are. And as long as US is also constrained about their own election at home, I can tell you that none of the political leaders will want to stick out itself either to support Israel blindly, incur the wrath of the world, or to say that, or to go against Israel and then to electoral votes consequences at home. Yeah. So it's a very delicate situation that we find ourselves at the moment. Yeah.
Right. Would move away from happenings in that enclave, come back to Ghana, where we have many issues of our own. Currently, there's a protest ongoing against government's repression and, of course, against illegal mining. Galamsey, that is. I think it was somewhere last week that the Stop Galamsey protest started, and the police arrested some people or some persons and took them to court immediately. They were remanded for 2 weeks. They were denied bail as well. People have made the argument that even for very serious crimes like murder, it's even still bailable. Courtesy, Martin Pebu. I'm going to be starting this conversation with you, Philemon Lab. Let's first look at the legal angle of this. I don't know if the Ghana Police Service arrested any more persons yesterday. I'm not aware of that, but let's focus on what happened last week and the fact that these people have been denied bail. I mean, people are also very suspicious of the fact that each and every person that was arrested is being remanded for 2 weeks in different courts. So how could the judges, be so uniform in their thoughts and then decide that, look, you go for 2 weeks, you go for 2 weeks, you go for 2 weeks. Let me start this conversation with you, Philemon.
I'll start with the Supreme Law of the Land. And when you look at Article 19 of the Constitution, it gives several liberties that are enjoyed by the citizens. It includes the fact that everyone is presumed innocent until proven guilty. It includes the fact that when you are going to be arrested by the police, you must be told in a language you understand the reason for the arrest. You must be extended courtesies, like the right to counsel of your choice. Right to counsel of your choice. Counsel here means lawyer. In the event that you do not have the means to get a lawyer of your choice, the state is further enjoined to provide a lawyer for you to mount a defense before court. Those are constitutional provisions. There's also Section 96 of the Criminal Procedure Act 30, 1960, which says that offenses are bailable, but subject to the discretion of the court. So Martin Pebu famously took this matter to the Supreme Court. He mounted a heavy challenge of the provisions of Article 19 connected to Section 96 of the Criminal Procedure Act 30. And the Supreme Court agreed with Martin Pebu. The Supreme Court's position is that, look, Martin Pebu got three different ones. So one is on the 48-hour rule. The 48-hour rule is that you cannot hold anyone, incarcerate anyone in police custody for more than 48 hours without presenting the person before a court. You get the point? So the police has a maximum of 48. In the particular case of the protesters, we know that some of them were kept for more than 48 hours. Some of them were kept in police custody for more than 48 hours in clear breach to what the law says. That's number one. On the issue of bail, the Supreme Court said that all offenses are bailable. All offenses are bailable. And it's important for us to categorize the kinds of offenses that the law prescribes. We have something called misdemeanors. We have something called felonies. And even under felonies, we have first-degree felonies and we have second-degree felonies, which describes the degree of intensity of both crimes. What it essentially means is that felonies are higher crimes and misdemeanors are lower crimes, lesser crimes, crimes that are not really big things. The practice is that the Attorney General's offices, under Article 88 of the Constitution, has been given all the prosecutorial powers of state. That means that if the state is going to prosecute, take anyone to court, it is the office of the Attorney General that does that. That is a matter of law under Article 88 of the Constitution. The Attorney General's offices is not only an Attorney General, it is also a Ministry of Justice. And by virtue of being a Ministry of Justice, they have an overarching responsibility to ensure that justice is meted out to all manner of persons without regard to your tribe or your political leaning or your offense or whatever they are charging against you. Whatever it is, they have a duty to ensure that you are meted out justice. You get a dual role of the Attorney General. Ministry of Justice, and also Attorney General. I am part of the lawyers representing the protesters, 50-something of them in total. When they were arrested, I was part of those who went around all the police stations in Accra. First of all, the police breached that requirement that you must be told in a language you understand the reason for your arrest. Most, if not all of them, were not told why they were arrested. They were just arrested and sent, locked all across Accra. Number two, they were not given the right to counsel. In fact, most of the police stations we went to, the police told us they will not tell us who and who they have there. I can mention Tesano police station as an example. Yes, here. We went there and they said, we will not tell you who we have in our custody. And when we asked why, they said, oh, Charlie, it's order from above. Oh. That's what they told us. Order from above told the police not to allow them to enjoy, to conference with their lawyers, so we can advise them on what the next steps are, to understand their side of the story and mount a defense for them. That is what the police did. Is that fair, my brother? Is that how to treat the citizens of your country? Aside that, so the lawyers, we put in a lot of work. Legwork, went around all the police stations. We had to collect our own list. It took us writing to the IGP, asking the IGP to provide us a list of all those arrested and which particular police stations they'd been sent to. The IGP did not respond. It took the intervention of Amnesty International. Amnesty International. That's how bad we've been embarrassed in global proportions. In global proportions, for an international organization like Amnesty International to write to you that you are breaching the rights of citizens, you must make available to them the right to counsel. Their families must know where they are. Are we in a banana republic? Are we in a police state where just arrest someone, take the person somewhere, and nobody knows where the person is? How is the person? And look, some of the protesters have given us direct feedback that they were not fed by the police. Again, in clear breach of what the Supreme Court has said. When you arrest someone, you have a duty. You must feed the person. You must feed. The police did not do that. So all in all, there's been like a whole conundrum of failure, of incompetence by the police. And in all of this, they said that they were ordered from above. Let me end with this. I mentioned that under Article 88 of the Constitution, prosecutorial powers are with the Attorney General. Fact. But the practice is that you've seen all the reports done by the Attorney General's office is understaffed. They don't have enough lawyers. The office of the Attorney General does not have lawyers even in Northeast and all around. They don't have enough lawyers. OT, they don't have lawyers everywhere. It's only Accra, Kumasi, Takoradi that they have quite a substantial now. You go to the interior, Upper East, you go and see just like 4 or 5 lawyers. How are they able to prosecute? So what the Attorney General's department, over the years, their practice is that they have outsourced prosecution to the police. So the police prosecutes in lower courts, like in the district courts, like in the circuit courts. On misdemeanors, the police are the ones who prosecute the matter. So no one expects that the Attorney General would send lawyers to the circuit court to represent the state on misdemeanors. And I'm saying misdemeanors are small crimes as prescribed by the law. But in this particular case, it took the Attorney General's office to send lawyers there. Another curious thing, when you're moving a bail application in court to ask the court to grant your client bail, there are a number of omnibus statements you must make to the court who show that your client is willing to cooperate with the police, your client to avail himself for trial if there's a need, your client is not a flight risk, your client is a responsible member of society, and perhaps it's a first-time offender or a first-time brush of the law. You state all of these grounds. We stated all of these grounds. Now, when the lawyer for the defense makes his case, the judge will listen to the lawyer for the republic, which in most cases is the police. But in this case, it was lawyers from the Attorney General. And usually, because all offenses are bailable, once the police, they are satisfied that, oh, this person is even a small crime, it's not any serious matter. He hasn't raped anybody. They've not stolen. They've not committed any act of treason. They have not done armed robbery. They have not murdered, manslaughter. They haven't done any of the serious offenses. So usually the prosecution will just say, well, to the extent that the person is willing to cooperate with the police, we have no objection. That's the practice. That is the practice. But in this case, Attorney General's lawyers come. And mind you, when lawyers from Attorney General come, they act on instructions of the Attorney General. So that means the Attorney General told them directly, when you go, object to the bail application by lawyers for the protesters. And they did that. They told the court that we object. We object to any grant of bail.
On what basis?
They just said they object. And the court, in fact, in some of the courts of it was quite interesting what happened in the courts.
Well, I'm hearing that one of the reasons for which they were denied bail is that there was no assurance or there was no surety that these people would be reached or found when it was time again for them to appear in court. And
that is not correct. That is absolutely not correct. In the case of, let's mention names, Felicity Nelson, me, I know her personally. I know her family. Very respectable family, decent family. If I mention her father to you, I mean, like very decent people. Don't you see on Facebook? She's like someone, she loves Ghana. We all know her address. She's never had any brush with the law. And those are the things that the court will look out for. Yeah. Has this person committed a crime before or had a brush with the law? So if you've had a number of incidences with the court or with the police, that would be basis for them to say, oh, you've done that before, so I will not allow. But in this case, they have never had a brush with the law. The police has not even presented any evidence to show that you have done A, B, and C. In fact, there are some of them who were just bystanders who were arrested.
I've heard.
You get the point? So these are people with known addresses. They don't even have passports. How much more run out of Ghana? Do they even have the means to run out of Ghana and at this difficult Ghana? No. There are people that are willing to cooperate to the police because, look, someone who has shown courage, competence, bravery to go on the street to protest when most people were in their houses, is it going to the police station to report or going to court that they'll be scared of? Is it the court that... Look, someone famously said, the court is not a slaughterhouse. No matter what happens, when you go to court, don't cut your head. So that suggestion that they won't find them after all is not correct. And mind, the police also has all the powers and resources. Before they grant anyone bail, you must bring sureties. And the role of a surety is to say that if the person does not present himself, then the surety be held to task. Yeah. And before every surety comes with a Ghana card and all, so they can trace you. Yeah. So what basis would the police say they could have tracked the people? That was the most lazy excuse. So I think that the fact that all of them were uniformly sentenced to remand for 2 weeks by different judges, different courts, shows that there's something that would have gone on. And let me conclude on this point. I had the Chief Justice, a banter between the Chief Justice and the Attorney General, with the Chief Justice saying that you can't blame the courts on, such issues of people that are before the court. It is the Attorney General. You are the one who prosecutes. And the Attorney General also under Article 88 can file something called a nolle prosequi. Yeah. Nolle prosequi is to go to court and say, my lord, we are not interested in the case again. And the court will not ask any question. The court will free them. If you feel that you still have a case and you can come back again. So there's no excuse to say that people are you can put them in for 2 weeks and you have nothing to do. You have something to do. Go to the court, file a nolle prosequi, bring them out, and if you have fresh charges, you can label them again, and we are ready to defend them because we believe that these protesters have done something Akufo-Addo and his ministers and government have failed to do. These Galamseyers have shown bravery to the fight against corruption than Bawumia ever can. These are patriotic people who must commend and salute. Thank you, my brother.
Right. Thank you very much, Philemon La. If you are just joining us, this is the newspaper review segment of Good Morning Africa. We are currently discussing the Free the Citizen protest, which is ongoing. It's a 3-day protest. It started yesterday. It's going to be ending tomorrow. But we have to look at the background. Why people are marching on the streets in protest against those who have been put behind bars for marching on the street for the same or for that very reason. Let me now turn my attention to Dr. Aminu. He was also going to share his thoughts with us with everything that has transpired over the past couple of weeks.
Well, I think Philemon has done justice to the legal aspect. Yeah, as I drove here this morning, I was like asking myself, are these some of the police officers that have worked within international circles? Because some of us have had engagement and working relationship with them to the extent that we know the value of what they can do and we know the capacity of what they have offered internationally. To the extent that they work with national police in various countries in order to build their capacity. So how come that just on the question of a simple demonstration, which is a democratic right, that people are being held behind bars for demonstrating to express their dislike or their opposition about how our forest cover, our river bodies are being managed. And I couldn't help but to believe that there must be some forces behind these police officers that we have known to have worked well in international circles. And that, by what measure would you arrest people, deny them access to counsel, deny them access to even their family relations, and so on and so forth? Even the very locations at which they are being held was kept in secrecy, to the extent that lawyers who offered themselves for assistance had to go around. Even initially, you could realize that even in terms of numbers, there was disparity between the numbers that the police claimed they had and the numbers that were being believed to have been arrested. Why? And when you hear some of the names of some of the police commanders that we know we have seen working outside Ghana, they have actually worked respecting international standards. These are basic human rights that you ought not to deny people. Then the other question that came to mind is, why has it become so difficult to even have demonstration in Ghana now? Something that is enshrined in the Constitution is just an expression of a view over something. And people should be allowed to freely express their opinion. And then we move on. Then you come to the charges that have been leveled against them. There seems to be an omnibus charge. And you wonder how this has come about. That having the police be able to sieve out the various whatever crimes that they have allegedly committed. In any case, we are being told that they've committed some crimes. What are those crimes? Was the charges that we have seen in the court seems to be omnibus. And one wonder why the entire people collected or arrested will be committing such. That the police have not been able to sieve out this. And two cases in particular came to mind, as has been reported. There's this gentleman, they claim that he was actually coming from the church, or returned from church. Apparently, he must have been attracted to take photograph, whatever it is. And that's the reason for which he was arrested. There is yet a second young man who is reported to have his wife on admission at 37 Military Hospital.
Absolutely.
And the wife was in labor. So he stepped out of the hospital to go withdraw money. They say I understand he had about 1,600.
He didn't have enough money.
1,600 on him, but the bill was about 2,400. So he simply stepped out of the hospital in order to go withdraw additional money to be able to pay for the bill. In the process, he must have noticed that his battery, his phone was running down. So he went to charge the battery, to charge his phone, at the same time buy coconut. That was the point at which he was picked. So the question is, bundling all these arrested persons, does it mean that the police has not been able to sieve out? And as the gentleman even requested that, look, if you doubt my story, please allow one or two officers to follow me into the hospital so I can point to my wife who is on admission. So when all these things are denied, then you ask yourself, then there must be something working beyond what we see on the ordinary. And that, as I said earlier on, some of these police officers have been to peacekeeping areas. We know the standards that they work with. We know how they even advise and capacitate national police officers to meet international standards. So how come they cannot perform the same in their own countries? That means that there's really something behind, the veil.
And I think that this is something that we should look at.
If we must make progress with our democracy, then we need to accommodate each other. I mean, young people coming out to demonstrate about an existential threat to our lives. Water being destroyed, forest cover being destroyed. And if we know how the ecosystem is connected, we are all at risk. How much of the food we consume in Accra is produced in Accra? It comes from hinterland. So to the extent that the water is polluted, etc., then definitely we should show concern. And that brings in the question of why we are not even addressing this issue of Galamsey. And my belief is that people in authority are actually beneficiaries of what is happening. Because if you look at what is happening in Ghana today, if public office holders mean to do something, hardly will you have anything obstructing them. They will do it. It is only when it is benefiting them that they only hide around certain, covers and want to pretend that they are solving when they are actually not, because they are the beneficiaries. I think that I want to add my voice to the cause that these young boys are only expressing their democratic right. There's no basis to hold them behind bars for 2 weeks or whatever reason. I think the judiciary must also help in any case. They are only pointing to something that is going wrong as far as our environment is concerned. And that they only came out to demonstrate, to express their opinion. Even if they have committed so-called crimes, I don't think they deserve to be held behind bars for 2 weeks. Thank you.
Right. Counsel,
Yeah.
I want to find out from you, and I mean, not to be prejudicial, but what could happen after the remand period? What is going to happen next?
Two things can happen. One is for the courts to free them, for the police to continue whatever investigation they are. They're not running away. They are manning up to whatever charge they are given. If we say Felicity Nelson destroyed property, do you have evidence of Felicity? She did not destroy property. If we say Ama Governor, for example, bent a tie, do you have a video of her doing that? If we say that someone, Glenn tore an MPP poster, you don't have videos of that. The man whose wife was in the hospital came out. There's evidence to show that he had come out. 37 is a public space. So if someone goes to charge his phone, do Momo transaction, and is drinking Kubinsu, difficult Ghana. So he should have been eating a proper meal. He had to resort to coconut water. We should be ashamed. We should be ashamed about that. We are not a banana republic. We must underscore that. We must underscore that. He, Akufo-Addo, having led Kumipreku in 96, was he arrested and remanded? With all the destruction, the properties they destroyed during that demonstration, was Akufo-Addo, as one of the leaders and organizers, was he arrested and remanded? Was he arrested and remanded? No. So I don't know why there's a certain arrogance of power. We give people power and they come, and this is a man that was begging, Someshe, try me, please, try me. Now we've tried you, and what you are doing to our citizens is that you are being high-handed on them. So it's either the court would grant them bail for the processes to continue, or the Attorney General will file a non-leave prosecution. But I think that we can learn something from what happened in the case of the first one, Occupy Jilobi House, Part 1, where Oliver again was arrested and all of that. All those guys were arrested. What the police did was that they withdrew all the charges after the remand period. That means that if the police will not even continue with the prosecution, you have punished them unduly by remanding them for 2 weeks. In the name of you have not concluded your investigation, you say whatever your reasons are. But 2 weeks would have expired, and these people have languished in Sawam and several police cells across the capital. Will they be compensated? Akufo-Addo, can you sleep at night? Alhaji Bawumia, if one of these people were your son or daughter, would you be able to sleep at night? Would you be able to? You know the case of someone who is diabetic and asthmatic and had an upset and also has glaucoma. My brother, those are the two options that can happen. But in all of this, there's also a human rights application filed by Francis Xavier Sosu in the High Court. I believe that would come before the set date but he's representing just a section of them. So we see. In the case of Oliver, people have sought to bastardize Oliver. Oliver has taken responsibility for whatever his actions were. They say by taking the key and throwing it to the police, it constitutes stealing. And it's laughable. It's laughable. If you I'm a lawyer, and we all know what the ingredients for stealing is you must meet a certain threshold to establish that it was stealing. One of the key things you must establish in proving your case that it was stealing is that the person intended to deprive, the menstrual, to deprive the owner of its use. Did Oliver take the key and took it to his house and put under his bed that no one knew he took it? Did Oliver do that? So that charge is faulty, if you ask me. And any lawyer, I believe, will be able to shoot down that. Maybe that's why they brought lawyers from Attorney General, because police, they are like police, would take 1 minute to demolish their case. But whichever lawyers they are bringing for Attorney General, I believe they cannot substantiate. I saw an interesting post on Twitter last night by someone. Let me get it so people can authenticate it. This Twitter person said that as the demonstration was happening yesterday, like the recent demonstration, the police had people reenacting scenes similar to what happened in the Oliver demonstration, basically to make it look like they're gathering fresh evidence they can use as evidence. This is someone who posted on Twitter. I don't know the authenticity, but if that is what the Ghana police is doing, that would be shameful. And they should provide timestamps. There must be timestamps on any video they want to present.
Right. Right. I'll read a few messages. Good morning, blessed. Persons who committed misdemeanor could be released on self-recognizance bail by the court, per the law creating the offense. Were the accused persons granted bail and there was no sureties? Was it? What is happening is just the machinations of the government. Whatever goes up definitely comes down. Today, the government in power is happy. Tomorrow, things may change. The IGP is just remote controlled. He should know there were IGPs before he came. Jacob from Damongo. Thank you, Jacob, for your message. Are you a free? Sent this one. He says Akufo-Addo is telling the labor unions to postpone their demonstration. My question is, when is he going to call the labor unions to demonstrate? We should not also trust the leaders of these labor unions, because anytime they call for demonstration and they are called to meet the president, the case ends there. Labor should not stop the planned demonstration. UA3 and Mekuduka said, is the NDC that brought in these galamseers to destroy our waters? So why wouldn't they send the NPP police to arrest them? In the first place, who did these people they said are NDC galamseers, foreigners even enter Ghana? NPP are wicked-minded. James from Kumasi. All right, thank you, James Mano, for your message. This one here says, bless, galamsey issues is a national pandemic. So therefore, I'll humbly appeal to you to read all messages concerning galamsey for us in the countryside. All right, thank you very much. But this one says, in fact, some people in Ghana are happy for the destruction done to our water bodies and forests and forest reserves. Why so? I saw on one of the TV stations this morning a environmental prayer walk against galamsey. Are we serious at all? These galamsey issues are more dangerous than tsunami, so prayers can't solve anything called galamsey. Nanado is asking organized labor to call off their intended strike. The whole campaign, King Kong leader, captain, major general of all demonstrations in Ghana in the 1990s. All right, thank you so much. Silent Rock inside Binduri in the Upper East region. Thank you for your message. This one here says that, good morning, Pan-African TV. My name is Nasigri Basani from Mamprugu district in the Northeast region. My complaint is that the whole of SO community, there is no access to mobile network. I'm appealing to the Ministry of Communication to turn their good eye to SO community. I want to believe I'm pronouncing the name of the community right. SOO should be SO. Or the whole world is now an information highway, and unfortunately SO is not part of it. From Soran Nasigri family. All right, thank you for your message. Never argue. Okay, all right, thank you so much for the message. Populampo for Kumase says that, good morning, I'm enjoying the program. It's fantastic. Nanado is a weak president. He's the weakest Ghana has ever had. All right, thank you for your message as well. Organized labor, this is our last chance. Don't give in to the government's empty promises. We, the people, are relying on you to stand up for our rights. Stay strong and focused. We are solidly behind you. Organized labor, don't disappoint Ghanaians. You are standing in for the thousands of Ghanaians. Aigbe from Tamale. Thank you, Aigbe, for your message. Let me go to this one. Good morning, bless. The galamsey issue in the country is as a result of huge unemployment in the country. But how do we solve this unemployment issue? I would like to suggest short-term and long-term solutions to our stakeholders. We need a committed leader, ban all forms of mining, borrow money to fix a few unemployment problems, include all the unemployed on the payroll and pay them, say, 500 Ghana cedis. This will help you get every citizen's data. Blessed time would not allow me, but have a complete book for the problem. William from Kufuridia. Thank you, William, for your message. Let me do this one, which says that my name is Abbas from Ofinso. The President and his Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia have demonstrated beyond reasonable doubt that they love votes and money more than the Ghanaian people who voted for them. Now they can't stop Galamsey because of money. Again, they can't stop Galamsey because they themselves are into it. If this is not a wicked government, then what else constitutes a wicked government? All of us must say no to this kind of bad governance. Okay, thank you for your messages. Right. Still on Galamsey though, organized labor, they issued a press statement, I think 2 days ago, that they were going to embark on a sit-down strike. They're going to lay down their tools effective October 10 in protest against illegal mining and the fact that government has been largely lackadaisical in dealing with the issue. Well, they have met with the president and the president has asked them not to, has begged them not to embark on that strike. I don't know what the position of organized labor will be if they are going to kowtow to the demands of the president and rescind that decision, the decision to embark on a strike come October 10. But in any case, I'm very surprised as far as this story is concerned, and the fact that the president is begging them not to embark on the strike. I mean, you are begging them to let them know that you are going to bring Galamsey to a halt immediately. People have called for drastic measures to be taken. For instance, a state of emergency. And the president does not see it necessary. In fact, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources came out to say that it will be too draconian for a state of emergency to be called in that regard. But look at the urgency with which the president attacked the issue of our pitches not being legible for international matches. Then he quickly set his men to task. They had to deal with the Accra Sports Stadium. Then he personally called the CAF president and asked him to send a delegation to come and inspect the pitches. Now they say we can play our upcoming matches over there. So if the president has the might, the authority to get these things done, and he doesn't want any international disgrace, then it means that it is very intentional that he's decided to shut his eyes and ears to the issue of Galamsey. Philemon.
Yes, absolutely. Because, you see, organized labor, it's not today they started talking about Galamsey. They gave the president an ultimatum within which to act on the issue of Galamsey. Otherwise, they would strike. And throughout that period, I think about a month or so, the president was silent. He did not even engage them on it. For that 1 month ultimatum they gave him, act on it. He didn't do anything. He didn't have the courtesy to even engage. He did not. Only recently, the president of the Ghana Journalists Association spoke truth to power. He looked President Akufo-Addo in the face and said, Mr. President, you have failed. You told the people of this country you're putting your presidency on the line. You have failed. Your appointees are complicit in illegal mining. Your party, your government, went to lay an LI. An LI means a legislative instrument in parliament. LIs are types of laws. They are a particular kind of law. But they don't go through the usual lawmaking process of first reading, second reading, debate, committee stage and all of that. It doesn't go, LI doesn't go through that process. Once it is laid, after 21 days, it becomes law. And this LI was laid by this government. And the LI basically allowed for mining to happen in forest reserves. So does it suggest that this party is serious, this government is serious about the fight against corruption? Why would you in the first place make it legal for people to mine in forest reserves? Ask yourself, why? People of Ghana, why did Akufo-Addo sanction that LI be made to to allow people, and we know that the licenses that have been given over the last, in fact, over the period of, it's about 80% of all licenses ever given in this country. Just within these 8 years of Akufo-Addo's government, 80% of all licenses to mine in Ghana were given during Akufo-Addo's tenure. Akufo-Addo's tenure. So the commitment to this fight has been zero. But you see, the president of Ghana Journalists Association spoke to the president and told him he had failed. We expected that if there's a direct call on you by your children, because the president is the father of the land, so if we cry out to the president, there's an expectation that the president will listen. Whether or not the president will take what you have said is another matter. But at least let the people know that I have heard what you are saying. After the GJA president spoke, Mr. President did not even have the courtesy. He said, oh, I have heard you. Maybe give me a week, I'll address it. He was silent on the matter. My brother, well, you know at the award ceremony. Did you not hear the silence of the president on this matter?
In fact, he was even angry.
He was even angry. Look at his body language. And the guy now, you know, the body language suggested that he was angry that the president of the GJA had spoken about the matter of illegal galamsey. Now, GJA, after giving organized labor, TUC, after giving an ultimatum for which you did not meet, have declared a nationwide strike. And you are now begging them that, oh, the economy is not good, and if they go on strike, the economy will collapse. Are we the reason? Did we make the economy fail? If we will fail the economy, you are the leader of the Ghana. You and Baumia. We are presiding over Ghana. It is your leadership that has led to the most absurd exchange rate we have ever witnessed in this country. It is under your leadership that Ghana's economy was rated as junk by Fitch. It is under your leadership that the bag of cement, which used to be 20-something cedis, is now 110 cedis. It is under your leadership that the prices of petrol is the highest ever we've paid in this country. It is under your leadership that we are paying so much in utility, water and electricity. It is under your leadership that the price of goods and services in this country are so high. Yam prices, price of tomatoes, prices of Nido, milk, Milo in the market, all very expensive. Recently, children went to school, and if you listen to what parents were saying about how they had to buy Milo, 1 tin of Milo about 90 Ghana. Something that used to about 15 cedis. It's now about 90 cedis. So the people of Ghana are not the reason why the economy of Ghana has failed. It is the leadership of Alhaji Bawumia, the leadership of Akufo-Addo, and the overall leadership of the NPP that has gotten us to where we are. So if you're now scared that the economy will collapse further if a strike happens, blame yourself. I call on organized labor. The people of this country look up to you. We look up to you to do what is right. We look up to you to be a voice, the only voice that Akufo-Addo can kowtow to. The last time organized labor threatened a nationwide shutdown, the president made a U-turn. You remember, just about 2-3 months ago, the sale of the hotel matter. When organized labor threatened, they did not end there. So organized labor, you have power. Let's show the NPP something. Let them know that we, the people of this country, are the bosses of the politicians. Let the Akufo-Addo and his government know that we, the people of this country, are the employers of he and his government. Let Akufo-Addo know that we have seen how they've become rich overnight. We have seen how members of his party are complicit in illegal mining in forest reserves. We know the example of the member of the MPP parliamentary candidate for Joabin. We know that example. We know the example of Sampine, mayor of Kumasi, former regional secretary of the MPP in Ashanti region. We know Chairman Wontumi. All of these guys are mining in forest reserves. Meanwhile, it's claimed that the forest is getting bad. Only about 2 weeks ago, the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources was in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates, to receive some $20-something million, for them to come and, improve the forest reserves of this country. So while they are going around begging for money to come and invest into making our forest cover better, you are still polluting, cutting down trees, mining irresponsibly, becoming rich at the expense of you and I. I was saying something that is possible, that already, we may have drunk water or eaten fish or even bathed water that is mercury or lead, laced with mercury or lead. It is possible. Should we forgive Akufo-Addo for this? Can we forgive Akufo-Addo for this? Akufo-Addo has the luxury of importing water into Ghana for himself and his family. Courage, Doc, me, we do not have the capacity. The people of this country do not have the capacity. And we love this country too much to allow the next 4 years be like the last 8. We love Ghana too much to allow that. We love Ghana too much to allow that. And I call on the people of this country, let's vote out the MPP. They are an existential threat to the peace, stability, and environmental sustainability of Ghana. Let me end on this point. We know that Ghana has acceded to several international treaties, and you've worked with the UN and all of that. You understand? We have acceded to several international treaties that mandate us to protect our forest cover. Not just for the local protection of Ghana, but for global biodiversity. Every country is required to maintain a certain forest cover so that we can help to protect the climate. Every year, they go for that COP conference. Ghana goes with over 1,000 delegates. You get the point? You go for all of these conferences and you don't learn that climate change is an important thing.
That's not the purpose for which they go there anyway.
But so. They go. They instead of give them allowances per diem and all of that, only to come back and do nothing.
They go to have fun.
Look at Achimota Forest, which is just nearby.
Yeah.
Do you know what's happening at Achimota Forest? Aside the fact that Sir John and Co will part of it to their... It is true. This LPP government, they sold part of it to their family and friends. But yet, you are crying. You see, Akufo-Addo, who has shown that he can give his daughters contracts, tells you that he doesn't care about the rest of us. Let's vote them out.
Doc?
Thank you.
Doc, are you part of organized labor?
No.
I think you must be.
No,
are you not part of UTAC?
No.
Oh, Asheshi lectures are not part of UTAC?
No, I'm actually on retirement, so I'm doing part-time at Asheshi.
Oh, okay.
So
but you're part of UTAC, University Teachers Association of Ghana. I'm part of UTAC. So we are part of UTAC. We are part of organized labor. University teachers, we are part of organized labor.
Yes, I see.
I worry that to affect the students, but the fact is that we must speak with a voice that Akufo-Addo can understand.
I mean, lives are more important, of course.
Yeah, it's really sad. And in organized labor meeting, the president pleading for them to postpone their strike. Did we have to get to this place? Or how did we get here? And I think all that organized labor is asking for is for action. Because how did we sit down to get water polluted up to this level? Like he was saying, for keeping forest cover, the international committee even pays us. The last one was in 2020. It was about $8 million plus that we got. Dollars. So how do you sit down, destroy your own forest, and get money in order to maintain the forest? Gleefully, a week or two ago, the Minister of Lands and Forestry was taking money from UAE, a desert country, for us to come and maintain in our forests. Isn't it a shame?
Shame.
It's really a shame. Well, we understand organized labor will be meeting today. They will take a decision as to the way forward. It's like they met the president yesterday, so they heard whatever he was going to tell them, pleading with them to postpone their action, blah, blah, blah. So when they meet today, they will decide what to do. So for now, I think we'll just hold our guns and see what is going to come out of their meeting. But I believe that where we have reached, as far as Galamsey is concerned, we've gone beyond rhetorics. We need action. Like I said earlier, personally, I believe that it is because the beneficiaries of Galamsey are the same public officers that we are having today. After all, we had a former minister, a cabinet minister, Professor Boateng, provide a very comprehensive report. What happened to that report? It was kept for 2 years. It took immediate engagement for Prof to indicate that he had actually written a report about the state of affairs and what needed to be done before the whole thing came out, and then all kinds of innuendos were being made here and there, accusations that it was mere allegations, it was his own imaginations, and that he didn't like some people, all kinds of, in fact, the whole report was rubbish, so to speak. Recently, we had the Fourth Estate bring out a report. What has happened to that one too? So it is because the beneficiaries of this existential threat are actually those in authority. Unfortunately, the ordinary people are suffering. I hear you drive on the Konongo Highway today, just on the main road, you see the effect of Galamsey. We heard about a pregnant woman who just went to use nature's call. The structure in which she was using caved in because Galamsey under. I mean, so what else do we want to see? Do we really have public office holders? What is governance? It's about service to the people, meeting the needs of the people, managing affairs such that you provide services, goods and services to the people. But where we are destroying ourselves within the very environment we are living, and yet we don't have action being taken, and then we hear that, oh, there's a need to build national consensus over what? People took office, or they took off of office, so they should be responsible. Until 7th January 2025, President Akufo-Addo will still be in charge of the Republic of Ghana. So even if it is one day that action needs to be taken in order to curb Galamsey, so be it. Then this idea of don't politicize this, what is politics? It's the art and science of governance. Politics is not a crime. It is when partisanship is introduced in every affair of ours, that is where it becomes problematic. But politics essentially is supposed to be used to govern the state and to provide goods and services to the people. So if you are in authority today, you cannot address problems. And then you have political office holders accusing individuals and groups of people that they have imported others from neighboring countries to come and destroy. And yet, you are not arresting those people. Then sorry for my French, that must be a useless government. Absolutely. You are saying that some individual or group of individuals have imported foreigners to come and destroy our forest cover, to come and destroy our water bodies, to come and commit crime, so to speak. And yet, the police is there. We have the military. We have all kinds of security apparatus. Nothing is being done. So I repeat, I believe that the beneficiaries of Galamsey today are those in authority. That is why no concrete action is being done. Well, labor union, I believe we have mature people there. They know what is right. When they meet today, they will take appropriate action as to the way forward. But I believe that whatever action that they will need in order to help us will be appropriate. Thank you.
Right, but is there any confidence that you have in labor? And I'm saying this, or I'm asking this question based on comments that we are receiving from our viewers, that especially the leadership of labor, they think, the viewers think, are always compromised. They decide that, okay, we are going to embark on a strike because of this. They go and then allegedly, some monies are given them, and then they decide to, hold back. So, do we have some confidence in labor that they can stick to their words?
To be honest with you, the capacity of this government to compromise state institutions is no longer in doubt. The capacity of this government, to compromise state institutions is no longer in doubt. As a result, if people are accusing labor of anything, well, I can only hope that labor will do what is right. Take any state institution in Ghana today, and you are left with no argument about the fact that somehow government has found ways to go into them and do things that will favor them. Whether it is a electoral commission, whether it is a judiciary. Some of us have worked in the electoral commission before. We know how it was before, and we know how it is now. Sincerely.
Oh, you've worked?
I've worked with the electoral commission before.
Oh, okay.
Right? The capacity of the state as we have today in order to compromise state institutions is no longer in doubt. I can only hope that labor is very much alive with what is happening in the country. They will do what is expected and ensure that their image is not tarnished. Because what we are talking about is about an existential threat to ourselves. Take any river today in Ghana, and it's obvious. What else do you want to say? Even I'm hearing that Volta Basin is also under threat as we talk. We thought Volta was free. I'm hearing that Volta Basin is under threat as we talk. So what is out there is obvious. Talking should be put behind us. It should be action. Whatever needs to be done, all of us must talk. We must speak out to be done in order for the situation to change. Else, any talking we will just be prolonging our, our death warrant.
Right, I'll read some more messages. Good morning, Bless. Let organized labor understand that Ghanaians are looking up to them to mount maximum pressure on the government to do the needful in this Galamsey menace. Enough time was given to government and they failed. So organized labor should walk the talk and give the president no extension of time for evil persuasion fails, force must be applied. Prosper Mensah from Hohwe sent this one. Thank you, Prosper. Emmanuel Martin Urido Brempong from Kwehutafo. The NPP has able candidates across all the constituencies in this country. Our great efforts spearheaded by our predecessors make the NPP the only best choice for Ghana. The Nkoko seat is an NPP seat and we will maintain it with an increasing vote pattern. Joseph Frimpong is a candidate for the people. Right, thank you, Emmanuel Martin Oredu, for your message. Okay, this one here says that, good morning, I am Eddie from Bolga. I think this is the right move organized labor intends doing. To me as a Ghanaian, they should fight a right cause for we all. God should save us. Thank you, Eddie, and good morning to the people of the Upper East region. This one here says, good morning to you. My name is Freeman. You know, okay, the message is not so clear. Kindly reframe your sentences and then send it back. I'll read it. Okay. Devastating our forest reserve and water bodies is a vacuum we have created ourselves. According to the academia, they said in 2030 Ghana will import water from abroad. We must think of it. A word to a wise is enough. Popolampo sent this one. Thank you, Popolampo, for your message. Fuzeni Sani Turawa from Asaman Kesi says, good morning, Bless, and your panelists. Bless, Ekufuado, Dr. Baumia, and the NPP government are the cause of the water bodies being destroyed in Ghana. From 1995 to 2016, 57 licenses were issued for mining, but from 2017 to 2024, 1,596 have been issued, and the only solution to change evil government and bring in a visionary leader is to vote the NDC. Okay, good morning. Good morning to you. Many thanks for your message. This one here also says, indeed, NPP government has imposed hardship on us in this country. NPP communicators don't the future of this country. Anyone who wants Ghana to fall will also pay the price. Okay, thank you, Suleiman Eliasu from Yenahin. Thank you for the message. This one here also says, good morning, Bless. My name is Alaji Kucho. Bless, don't we know that the land Ghana has been sold by Nana long time? The only remains is the human beings in it. That is what we have to think about, not to sell us. Okay, thank you for your message. Good morning, Bless. Do you trust this organized labor? Just wait and see. They will drop this internet strike. I bet with my last press one. Sami in Adenta. Thank you, Sami, for your message. Bless, please, can you play Greedy Men by Stonebwoy to all the political parties in Ghana, please? Well, I guess Frank will do that after the show. Ken Williams says, good morning. Please tell NDC to recall Parliament under a state of emergency to probe the voters register and the stolen devices before it's too late. We cannot trust the vote to regain mafia, which was set up to steal our mandates just as they did in 2020. NDC must wake up from their slumber and call Jane Mensah to order. Pa Willie, thank you, Pa Willie, for your message. This Galamsey issue should not be glossed over. Very soon, our cocoa will not be purchased by the international community because it is poisoned by chemicals. Again, Ivory Coast will soon sue Ghana for polluting their water bodies. Ben Avugla from Hohwe, thank you, Ben. Good morning to the people of Hohwe who are tuned into the show this morning. Good morning, Pan-African TV. I thought most of the government communicators, officials have in the past compared Ghana to some countries such as US, Singapore, etc. Why are they not comparing Galamsey destruction to our water bodies and forest cover to same countries if that is good? Okay, thank you. 2 more messages, then we get into our last topic for conversation. Good morning, boss. My name is Abdul Mumin from Kumasi. I'm very disappointed in the NPP government. They are mafia. Stop Galamsey now. NPP, never again. Okay, and let me do this final one. Good morning, bless. If Nanado would sit and watch our water bodies to be poisoned and so quiet, then he is worse than Hitler. BB from Accra sent this one. Thank you, BB, and thank you so much for all the messages that you have sent. But we are looking at our final topic, Mpox. Mpox. If you go elsewhere to Rwanda, they also have the Marburg virus. A few people have been diagnosed. Some people have died tragically as a result. But what with COVID-19 and how we managed, and how with some alacrity we decided that we will put up health institutions and hospitals to, deal with these issues. How prepared are we to handle this Mpox, virus? Philemon.
If there's anything to learn from Mpox, I think COVID is just around the corner. We remember all the happenings in COVID and the many commitments, verbal commitments by Akufo-Addo's government that they were going to, implement the building of hospitals in 5 months or so. How many months has it been? They have failed.
There's even one they started in Kolebu. Well, as soon as, it was supposed to cater.
Yeah.
It's not that.
Yeah, so the essential things the government should be spending on, they have failed in doing that. And you see, the government majors in the minors and minors in the majors. How can you go and invest over $58 million on something you call a national cathedral when health care is an important? COVID taught us healthcare, but he still went to sink 58 million into something called, and I read this poem called The Cathedral, written by the distinguished Ghanaian poet from Volta region. What's his name? I remember his name very. He died in Kenya. Yes, Kofi Awono. How do you build a cathedral when your stomach is empty? How do you do that? How? When people are dying of common sicknesses, even malaria is still a challenge in Ghana, and you have gone to invest, and like your daughter, $34 million money to service new ambulances. Yeah. So it clearly shows that the government's commitment to the real issues of this country has been very paltry and disappointing. It's sad that this thing has happened. First, we've underscored the fact that this government may not be ready when it comes to a pandemic. The call is for citizens, let's all try to be each other's keepers, because the government has left us on our own. If the government cared, would have had, they said they were building a national infectious disease center, hospital, and da. What is the state of this hospital? What's the state of this national infectious thing? What's the state of it? So, NPP has shown that they don't really care about us. So I'm relying on the public health experts. I'm relying on donor support, because Ghana cannot do it on our own. Akufo-Addo cannot do it. He is a failure, and regrettably so. Baumia too cannot do it. So I hope that there will be medication that we can use to check this, and that we're able to contain the spread. We're able to afford medical care for those that may have been exposed already, to mitigate any potential escalation that may come out of this. Otherwise, we all just should be careful. I'm told that it's something that can be transmitted either from animals or from human to human contact. That means that going forward, we have to be very careful about that. Try to sanitize much more often, reduce physical contact, both with animals and with humans. And let's hope we're in God's hands. We're in God's hands.
Right. Doc?
We're really in God's hands. I pray that we don't have another pandemic on hand. But I understand from the Ghana Health Service that one case has been confirmed. And that fellow has no travel history. So they are still trying to trace the source of the disease. And we can only hope that they are able to get to the source of it. And I think about 26 people or so are also being monitored because of the contact they've had with that individual. Like Philemon said, of course, our health infrastructure is very much, deficient. and we can only hope that we don't have another public health issue, And I think that it is important that public awareness is raised, where the Ghana Public Health Service tells us they've already activated their surveillance mechanism, and they think that they are in a position to monitor and respond appropriately. We only hope that they have the wherewithal to be able to do what they are saying, because we even know of the case of dialysis at Kolebu and other hospitals that are having all kinds of problems, not functioning well, and we can pray that this thing is well, monitored, and the situation, handled as early as possible. And that reminds me of even Ebola. Some of us were in the front line of Ebola in Liberia in 2014, 15, and that kind of thing. So I know what it means, because we had to serve as the mechanism or the means to which the public was reached, how vaccines were supplied, stocked, delivered, even military deployment, we had to help in all those. So it's really a serious, issue at hand, and we can only hope that our public authorities will wake up, do what is necessary, so that we are not caught unawares. And as far as public information is concerned, people should quickly try as much as possible to report cases of any, health issues to the authorities, so that they can easily be checked in order to contain the spread. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll do a few more messages, then we say goodbye. Yeboah George says, even if you give a Kufuado 1,000 years, he cannot stop Galamsey. All right. Kabura Joshua says, Ghana is a joke country. Ghana elites are the most... okay, all right. I'm not going to add the remainder. KK Kaswa from American Town says, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is still the best choice for Ghanaians, so we are voting for him and the MPP come December 7. Simple. Kudos to Honorable Mavis Awakumsen from Kaswa. All right, thank you so much. Nazir Mohammed says, your station has been interrupted. The messages are being messed up. No, that I'm sure has already been rectified. This country is in deep crisis under this administration. Where did we go wrong? Kweku Duya is asking. Musa Batwa says, the Free Citizens Demo has shown strong commitment to pressuring the government to stop officials involved in illegal mining. Police actions, including barricading protesters at 37 Military Hospital, caused earlier incident despite an agreement to demonstrate at Jubilee House. The government seems more focused on silencing critics than addressing the illegal mining issue, but citizens will continue protesting until their demands are met. Attempts to suppress them will not work. My warm regards to Julius Deborah. Okay. All right. Comensa Pilatu says, Dr. Bawumia all the way. Number one is breaking the 8. It is highly possible. Special greetings to Mother for all. Honorable Nana Amadukwa, PC for Kankwe North. All right, thank you so much. Good morning, Bless. One of the most annoying things with this wicked government is that while destroying our forests and water bodies on a yearly basis, they use tree planting as a means to steal from us again. They are so wicked and insensitive. This MPP under Nana is just a mafia that has come to destroy Ghana. With all this, they are trying to use the EC to impose themselves again on us. What have we done to deserve this? All right, thank you. Ani Donani says, good morning to you, the host, and your panelists. Thank you for your message, Annie, and good morning to you as well. Med Hafiz says, my name is Med Hafiz from Willency constituency. Thanks to you, Pan-Africa TV workers, may you be able to defend this country for us. John Bauer, Beduni Robert says, bless, good morning. I'm John Bauer from Obuasi. Ghanaians should be careful with the Achim mafias because they want Bawumia to continue their thievery and a Japade document implementation. Suleiman Eliasu Balila says, indeed, MPP government has imposed hardship on us in this country. Okay, I think I already have done this one. Nana Afra Entry says, good morning, Bless. It's such a pity to see some Ghanaian youth insulting and lashing out about the posters, but I've refused to understand that these posters are fighting all of us. Greetings from Reykjavik in Iceland. Okay, thank you, and good morning to you for watching all the way from Iceland. This one here says, and it's coming from one of our dedicated viewers, Alhaji Hamza from Pig Farm. It says, good morning, my brother. Government functionaries and communicators of MPP party should not be insulting our intelligence and credit us with the little respect we deserve in this country. For God's sake, Mr. President is the #1 citizen of the country. We voted for him with all powers and authority given to him to protect and save our lives. So what are they talking about? It is clear Mr. President is not ready to fight galamsey in this country. According to communicators and functionaries of the MPP, they lost a lot of seats in mining areas, and for that matter, the fight has to be put on hold. It is all about party first before the nation. This is sad. All right. Thank you so much, Raji Hamza, for your message. Good morning to John Anyomi, who is also one of our dedicated viewers watching from Pando. Mr. Anyomi says, good morning, bless. If we are looking for terrorists in Ghana, go to the police and the army in this country. They are the terrorists. Or die be die oppressor is killing us softly. John Anyomi from Pando sent this one. Thank you, Mr. John, for your message. Kpankpili Jebun Inus from Wa. The MPP is a very wicked government. It's about time that Ghanaians need to wake up from their slumber. The current ruling government is a loot and share government. They are actually not into help the vulnerable Ghanaians, but rather to ramify the situation. The government must be voted out of power. Good morning, host. Please don't allow MPP to scam me about the National Cathedral, because they are able to scam God with a false cathedral that looks like an LGBTQ shrine and office complex. Beware of the mother serpent, because trusting a trickster is like drinking poison or cutting one's leg. Proverbs 26 verse 4. Pawili, thank you, Pawili, for your message. On to this one, which says, bless, what Akufo-Addo and his MPP think of is corrupt money and elections, not governance. You hear MPP say they will lose elections if they ban galamsey. Vote MPP out. Stephen from Kwabenya. My time is up.
Just a comment. You know, this false narrative of MPP losing election because of galamsey. I don't know. It's like it's being forced onto us, right? The previous parliament was 169 against 106, right? Now we have 137, 137. So meaning MPP lost 32. So are we saying that all the 32 constituencies are for mining areas? It's false. And yet it's being forced onto us that it is because MPP was fighting galamsey, that's how come they've lost mining areas. It's not the case. All the constituencies that they lost in Accra, are they mining areas? But, well, sometimes people keep repeating, comments or issues, even if it is false, so they will end up making it true. But how many of us actually subject it to? Yes. Make the difference. And then let's ask ourselves, the 32 seats that they've lost.
How many of them?
How many of them are from the mining areas?
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Aminu, for your time this morning. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
To you, Philemon. Philemon, I'm sure that we are going to be having frequent engagements on the show. I'm not going to. Yes, it's not going to be several weeks without you in the show again. I can promise that. I'm going to ensure that happens. And to our cherished viewers, thank you so much.
I was going to say congratulations to Kwame Sudan.
Of course.
As much as we know our political lines. He's here and I'm here, but he's still my brother.
Of course he is. He is. All right. Thank you to our cherished viewers for your time. I'll catch you same time tomorrow. Do have a pleasant day. Bye-bye.
Okay.